I glanced at the skulls, then away. Do you have any idea who they might be? I ain't sure, but they might be a woman named Belinda and her newborn baby, Abbie said. She disappeared a while ago, Belinda did, right after she had the baby. People all over this mountain been looking for her ever since. Most everybody thinks she was killed, and we all been searching for her for years, but so far we ain't had any luck. Sarah reached around behind her back and untied her apron. What are you doing? Abbie asked. I'm going to wrap 'em up in my apron. We'll take 'em back home with us and give 'em to Mr. Sanders tomorrow when he comes to collect the hyssop for his wife's rheumatiz. He can take 'em down to Constable Jackson next time he goes into town. Sari. Don't worry, Abbie. If the constable comes to question us again, we have her. She nodded in my direction. To tell him. They were here before we got here. You mean we're taking her back with us? But what if she brung Paul back and he's looking for her now? Well, I don't see there's nothing else to do except take her with us. And I don't reckon we'll see Paul any time soon, but if he shows up, we'll handle it. Abbie leaned toward her sister and whispered, I don't want him to come back, Sari. Sari rubbed her arm in a consoling way. I know, Abbie. I feel the same way. But I can't think of any way we can stop him, if he has a mind to. She shook her head. I wish you and Maggie would stop worrying about it. If he comes back, he comes back, and there ain't nothing we can do about it till he does. Sides, look how long he's been gone, and he ain't showed up yet, so I don't reckon he will. Abbie leaned close to her sister and lowered her voice. I pray to God every day he don't never come back. Do you think that's a sin, Sari? I don't know, but if it is, I'll burn in hell right alongside you. Sari walked over and bent down, picking up the larger of the skulls. Holding it in front of her, she studied it, then spread her apron on the ground and placed the skull on top. She gingerly positioned the smaller one beside it, before wrapping the apron around both of them, tying the sashes around the skulls to secure them. Holding the bundle gently in her hands, she turned to look at me as she stood. Whereabouts do you say you're from? Knoxville, Tennessee. That's a mighty fur piece to come. Do you know where you are? On Brown Mountain in North Carolina. That's right. She regarded me for a long moment. Must have taken you days to get here. Did you walk all that way, or you got a horse and wagon? Alarm bells clanged in my head, and I put my right hand in my pocket, worrying the items had disappeared. I ran my fingers over them once again to calm myself. Driver's license, lip gloss, cigarettes, lighter. All there where they were supposed to be. I put my left hand in the other pocket, touching the pack of gum. Yep, still there. I drew my hand out and looked at my watch for a moment, then glanced up to see Sari watching me suspiciously. I quickly hid my hand behind my back and unfastened the watch, cupping my palm around it. When she glanced at her sister, I dropped the watch in my pocket with the gum. I didn't know why, but it suddenly flashed into my mind that I should find a place to hide all of them. A safe place, close to where I could get to them if I ever found my way out of this mess. Sari brought me out of my thoughts when she spoke with irritation. Well, which one is it? Did you walk or ride in a wagon? How long you been on the road, and where's the rest of your things? She gestured toward my dress. You can't go around in your nightgown and slippers. It ain't decent. Confused, I looked down at my dress. It was long enough, reaching to my ankles, with a ruched bodice, but the material was a bit thin, and I didn't own a slip, so I didn't have one on. I'd figuratively burned that uncomfortable item of apparel when I started college. I'd always hated them, and since my breasts were on the small side, I figured I'd go along with the majority of feminists at that time. The dress covered me sufficiently, I thought, but apparently Sari didn't agree. My slippers, as she called them, were a well-worn pair of ballet flats. I wore a lot because they were comfortable. As for her other question, about how I'd gotten here, I hesitated. Walk, Wagon. It had taken us only 3 hours or so to drive over from Knoxville, thanks to the relatively new Interstate 40, but I had a feeling I shouldn't tell them that. Not yet, anyway. So I knew I was still on Brown Mountain. But the more important question, the one I couldn't bring myself to ask was, when was I?